Chosen one, there is a quiet before your arrival now that feels like the world setting a table. It is not superstition and it is not luck. It is the consequence of coherence. Your inside and your outside have learned to tell the same story at the same temperature, and that story travels faster than your footsteps. Doors do not merely open, they align. The hour does not merely pass, it listens. Somewhere between a breath and a blink, rooms remember how to be rooms instead of stages, and people remember how to be themselves instead of auditions. That is the awakening of your aura this month. Not fireworks, but gravity. Not spectacle, but standard. 1 in a billion is not a headline, it is a frequency. It hums in the way your shoulders carry a doorway without needing to conquer it. It sounds in the steady meter of your pace, proof that urgency no longer gets to appoint itself a leader in your life. It glows in the way your gaze returns what it sees instead of requisitioning it. Under that look, the human being in front of you stops negotiating for safety and starts generating honesty. You didn't hypnotize them, you unburdened the moment. Your energy arrived first and filed the room to order with a few simple laws. Truth at a human pace, dignity without discount, desire that knows its house. Your sexual energy is not marketing itself, it is governing itself. It is visible, human, unashamed, and it is literate. It knows consent as grammar, timing as tempo, dignity as law. A no in your weather is beautiful architecture, not a barricade to be outmaneuvered. A yes arrives already paid, not financed by tomorrow's regret. A not yet is honored as season instead of accused as defiance. The feminine nervous system reads this literacy at the speed of nerve and exhales. Vigilance loosens its fist, radiance returns from hiding. The masculine reads the same weather and retires performance as a strategy. Usefulness re-enters the chat, competence takes its rightful seat. Your heat has become a hearth, and hearths are where living gathers without fear of being devoured. What changed is not that you grew louder, you grew precise. You do not let adrenaline rent your voice. You refuse the theater of panic and choose the workshop of proportion. When conflict arrives dressed for a parade, you remove the audience and put the problem on a table where hands can touch it. You speak in sentences the size of the break. This happened. This stops. This will be repaired. This remains good. Fury, deprived of applause, becomes information. Shame, denied a spotlight, becomes a detail that can be addressed without redesigning a soul. The room stabilizes because the temperature is human again. Matter takes notes on you, and people take notes from matter. You set a glass down as if the table could feel. You close a door as if the house had nerves. You return the chair to where it belongs as if absence keeps minutes. Small fidelities are not cute, they are constitutional. Hands that spare objects bruises will spare stories bruises. Feet that widen a crowded path without performance will widen a constricted conversation without turning it into a courtroom. Weeks from now, in a place you will never see, someone will end a meeting while tenderness still has breath, or let a joke die because it wants to invoice a face. And they will not know they learned it from your weather. This is what it means to awaken an aura rather than announce one. The proof is not applause in the night, but kindness available in the morning. You are rare not because desire left you. You are rare because discipline joined it. You stopped leaking and started circulating. Breath began to lead word. Word began to lead movement. Movement began to lead mood. Water came before opinion and patience had something to burn. Sleep came before rescue and help stopped being vanity. Prayer came before performance and appetite remembered it is a guest, not a governor. None of this looks like a miracle while you are doing it. All of it feels like a miracle to those who live in the climate it creates. There is mystery to you now, but it is the kind that clarifies rather than conceals. People cannot quite name why they think better around you, but they do. They cannot explain why their laughter stops needing a casualty, but it does. They cannot say why the room seems bigger even though no walls moved, but it is. Your presence has begun to fund outcomes instead of optics. You do not recruit attention for yourself. You purchase possibility for everyone present and let the receipts do the talking. The receipts are simple. Decisions that hold without emergency speeches, boundaries that stand without guards, agreements that survive the morning, credit that arrives where labor lived while there is still music. The awakening of aura is measured by your endings as much as your entrances. You leave while sweetness still has breath. You bless what happened with one honest sentence instead of a victory lap. The dawn must pay for. You close the door softly, as if the house had nerves. People wake with fewer refunds to issue to their conscience. Their courage is available before lunch. Their choices do not require rescue. They forget to thank you. This is perfect. The point was never to be remembered. The point was to leave the world remembering itself. And if they ask for your secret, you will not hand them mystique, you will hand them chores. Begin when you said, end while tenderness still breathes. Tell the truth at a human temperature. Aim humor at knots, not faces. Protect the absent from redesign. Repair while the bruise is pale. Keep desire a guest in the house of your values. It will disappoint those who came for a spell. It will set free those who came for a life. That is what 1 in a billion means when it's real. Chosen one, silence used to frighten people because it had been weaponized against them. Around you, silence has learned to host. Your quiet is not the absence of contribution. It is the presence of calibration. The room was a radio between stations, and you turned the dial the last half inch. Suddenly the signal is clean. Suddenly sentences are the size of the truth they carry. Suddenly the body relaxes its negotiations and lets the soul speak in its own voice. This is magnetism at its highest fidelity. Not seduction, but sanctuary. You have stopped auditioning and started arranging. Your sexual energy is no longer a flare thrown to startle the night. It is the steady lantern in the center of the gathering. People lean in because the light is usable. The feminine feels her range returning. Laughter that is not a performance. Opinion that does not apologize for existing. Softness that does not need a moat. The masculine feels his work returning. Competence that does not require a costume. Strength that does not require casualties. Leadership that does not require a stage. You did not become the center by pulling harder. You became the center by holding truer. Quiet magnetism begins in your breath and travels to your word. One heartbeat between their last sentence and your first, and the hour remembers its metronome. In that heartbeat, anger trades spectacle for information, shame loses altitude and becomes a solvable detail. Urgency retires from pretending it is importance. You do not let panic set the agenda. You do not let flattery purchase your attention. You do not let boredom talk you into cruelty for sport. You give the moment back to itself at a human speed, and it spends itself on what can last. Your gaze is part of the field. It returns what it sees instead of harvesting it. It does not pry, it welcomes. It does not invoice, it blesses. Under that gaze, boundaries become beautiful architecture instead of barricades. A no remains elegant. A yes arrives paid. A not yet is treated as timing rather than a puzzle to outsmart. Choice becomes legible to the body before language is forced to carry it. And when language arrives, you honor it even if your appetite wishes it had said something else. The room reads this literacy before minds can name it, and vigilance steps down. People do not become smaller to be safe. They become more themselves because they are safe. You edit space with tiny mercies that feel like physics. You angle your stance so crowded paths widen. You pass a plate as if ceramic keeps a diary. You set a glass down as if the table could feel. These gestures are not etiquette. They are policy. They teach the building how to keep its nerves and the people how to keep their dignity. Where objects are protected from harm, disagreement can be too. Where doors close softly, narratives can as well. Where chairs return to place, tempers can remember their own. You lead without summoning followers. You bring conflict out of the theater and into the workshop. You refuse to hire an audience for a quarrel. You lay the problem flat where hands can touch it and speak in a grammar that is almost a prayer. This happened. This stops. This will be repaired. This remains good. Under that liturgy, blame loses its throne and responsibility finds a chair. You correct behavior without redesigning identity. You praise while there is still music so resentment has nothing to eat. You let credit travel to hidden hands before applause becomes a weapon. People leave with tools instead of trophies and do not need you present to keep using them. That is the proof of magnetism. It survives your absence. You laugh, but not at anyone. Humor under your care is an inhaler, not a blade. It aims at the knot, not at the person tangled inside it. 2 notches of pressure bleed out. No dignity pays the bill. The shy risk one more sentence. The clever risk a kinder one. Laughter returns as oxygen rather than currency. Rooms leave lighter in ways they can spend. On patience with children, on precision in craft, on gentleness with themselves when they miss. Your endings carry the same charge as your beginnings. You do not wring the last drop of attention from a night and send the invoice to the morning. You bless what happened with one true sentence, close the door softly, and go. Power that needs a crowd is a campaign. Power that leaves a standard is a legacy. You are practicing legacy in miniature, hour by hour, without poster or crown. Guard the engines that keep this magnetism clean. Drink water so your patience has weight. Breathe twice so your tone carries truth without turning sharp. Move your body so feeling keeps traveling and never seizes the controls. Sleep enough to keep your edge a tool and not a weapon. Pray in plain words so appetite remembers it is a guest, not a king. Protect the absent from redesign. Let credit travel early. Repair while the bruise is pale. None of this will trend. All of it will compound until the room cannot remember how it functioned before you taught it to breathe. And when they try to name you, alpha, mystic, phenomenon, let them, but don't inhale it. Titles are weather. Your work is climate. The magnetism you carry is not meant to trap. It is meant to free. People will not leave marveling at you. They will leave married to themselves again. That is the rarest miracle of all. And this month you are living it in plain sight. Chosen one, radiating a silence that arranges, a warmth that invites, a gravity that steadies, and a presence that makes truth affordable and goodness repeatable wherever you stand. Chosen one, the old world taught men to be bonfires or ice fields, either blazing until everything shrank from the heat or freezing the landscape to prove endurance. You have left that poverty behind. This month, your body carries the memory of two elements married without violence. Flame in your chest that knows its house. Water in your nerves that remembers its riverbed. You burn with a temperature calibrated for life, and you flow with a patience that still carves stone. People feel it before they can speak it. They step into your weather and discover they do not have to choose between safety and aliveness, between gentleness and strength, between being held and being honored. Your balance is not a pose. It is a covenant with reality. The mystery is not that your fire survived. Of course it did. The mystery is that it learned the discipline of breath. Your desire no longer proves itself by acceleration. It proves itself by stewardship. It listens to consent like a musician listens to timing, not as an obstacle but as the rhythm that makes melody possible. It reads posture and pace and breath and gives language time to arrive without being forced to carry more than it can hold. Under that literacy, a no is not an argument to win. It is a beautiful doorway that tells love where to stand and still be love. A yes is not a trophy to display. It is a responsibility you meet with rituals that protect mourning. A not yet is not a dare. It is a season, and seasons are sacred because they keep life from becoming a campaign. Your calm is not a vacancy. It is order. You do not leave silence to become a threat. You let it be a table where truth can sit without makeup. In that quiet, your eyes do a kind of human miracle. They return what they see. They do not requisition. They do not mine. They do not invoice. A person meeting that gaze discovers that being seen is not the same as being used. Performance drops its shoulders. Humor remembers that relief is holier than victory. The anxious auditor of every quiet moment resigns, and the hour stops being a courtroom and becomes a workshop where repair is affordable. Balance in your hands becomes a choreography of small fidelities that most will miss and all will benefit from. The glass set down as if the table could feel. The door closed like the house had nerves. The chair returned as if absence kept minutes. These are not quirks. They are the metronome of your presence. Objects do not get bruised by you, so stories do not get bruised to fit your myth. Paths widen because your shoulder remembers to angle. Conversations widen because your pride remembers to listen. The world copies what your attention blesses, and you bless gentleness so consistently that strength becomes safe enough to stand near. You do not use balance to avoid conflict. You use it to make conflict human. When heat and water disagree, you do not choose scalding or flood. You choose tea. You name the break at a volume people can live with tomorrow. You refuse to build an audience for a quarrel. You put the problem where hands can touch it, then keep the exits called winning and sulking unromantic. You draw a line in ink that will not smudge and leave a path back for those who must cross it later. You protect the absent from being redesigned by rumor. You praise while there is still music, so resentment goes hungry. And when correction must come, you address behavior without attempting to rewrite a soul. In your climate, adulthood becomes possible because dignity has not been mortgaged to pay for drama. The divine balance reorders appetite. Your sexual energy is no longer hunger with a crown. It is tenderness with a backbone. It does not beg. It does not bargain. It does not advertise. It declares conditions under which closeness can be clean if chosen and harmless if declined. The feminine body hears this literacy before the mind can applaud it, and vigilance unknots. Color returns to voice, range returns to presence. The masculine hears that spectacle has no currency here and introduces himself as usefulness. The child hidden inside so many adults stops flinching for a moment and tries the second sentence. The truer one that had been waiting for a room like this to arrive. There is nothing theoretical about your balance. It tastes like water before opinion, so patience has substance to burn. It moves like breath before reply, so truth keeps a human voice. It looks like movement before mood, so feeling keeps traveling and never seizes the controls. It feels like sleep before rescue, so help is not vanity. It speaks like a prayer in plain words, reminding appetite it is a guest. It lives like credit, traveling early to hidden hands, so justice eats and resentment starves. It repairs while the bruise is pale, so legend never replaces responsibility. None of this will trend. All of it will remain. The miracle of your balance is measured by what remains after you go. If voices keep a livable volume, if boundaries stand without guards, if jokes refuse to invoice a face, if decisions hold without emergency speeches, if tenderness survives into noon, then both your fire and your water have done their work. They were not a show. They were a shelter. Walk on, chosen one, carrying this marriage of heat and river, letting the room be warm enough to be honest and cool enough to be kind. Let your life continue to be the proof that strength and softness are not rivals but relatives, and that only together do they become home. Chosen one, gravity does not argue with objects. It reminds them where they belong. Your presence this month is that reminder. You do not seize rooms, you settle them. You do not chase attention, you lower the price of attention until noise cannot afford to live there. Where you stand, the hour remembers its spine. The stage forgets itself and becomes a place. People stop auditioning and begin contributing. This is not a trick of charisma, it is coherence with mass. Your coherence is made of kept promises at unremarkable times. Beginning when you said, not to collect points, but to keep faith with the invisible minutes that made beginning possible. Ending while kindness still has breath. Not to be austere, but to protect the morning from subsidizing the night. Speaking at a human temperature, not because truth is smaller than thunder, but because thunder does not leave relationships inhabitable. Under these customs, urgency retires from pretending to be importance. Admiration retires from pretending to be intimacy. Panic's campaign for leadership loses its donors. The room does not become quiet to avoid you, it becomes quiet to join you. Your sexual energy is the current under this gravity, and it is trusted because it is governed. Heat is visible, human, unashamed, and under oath. Consent remains the grammar. Timing remains the tempo. Dignity remains the law. A no in your field does not need a footnote to be honored. A yes does not mortgage the future to pay for the present. A not yet is not cross-examined into a counterfeit yes. Bodies hear this long before sentences can decorate it, and because they hear it, vigilance sits. Posture becomes presence. The air stops negotiating and starts breathing. You did not pull anyone in. You let them stop bracing. Gravity, when it is real, has small hands. It sets down a cup as if the table could feel. It closes a door as if the house had nerves. It angles a stance so a crowded corridor widens. It returns a chair to its place because absence keeps minutes. These gestures are not affectations, they are jurisdiction. Where objects are spared bruises, people are too. Where doors close softly, narratives can as well. Where paths widen without a speech, conversations do the same. The building learns your manners, and the people learn from the building. and you will hear your customs repeated months later in rooms your feet have never touched. You refuse to hire an audience for conflict. You open a workshop. You take the quarrel off its stage and put the problem on a table where hands can touch it. Your grammar is simple without being small. This is what occurred. This ends now. This is how we will mend. This is what remains good. You decline spectacle not because you fear heat, but because heat without aim is waste. Fury deprived of its parade becomes fuel. Blame denied its throne becomes responsibility. The future, which drama treats like rumor, returns as architecture people can build with. Your presence does not win moments, it preserves futures. Your eyes carry half your command, which is why your mouth speaks less than it used to. They are instruments for returning what they see, not for requisitioning. They bless rather than invoice. Under that gaze, ego unhooks from face, and the truer sentence, smaller, plainer, more expensive, finds a path to daylight. The loud discover precision. The quiet discover volume. The clever remember kindness. Laughter returns as oxygen rather than a weapon. No one will post about this alchemy. Everyone will live easier because of it. You keep mercy built into the structure, so repair never needs to be imported. You speak names of hidden hands while there's still music. You take responsibility while the bruise is pale. You aim humor at knots, not identities. You protect the absent from redesign. You let endings arrive before sweetness turns to residue. You will never trend for these. You will be trusted for them. Trust is how gravity is measured by humans. Guard the engines that give your presence its weight. Water before opinion so patience has density. A breath before reply so tone stays human while truth remains whole. Movement before mood so feeling keeps traveling and never seizes the controls. Rest before rescue so your help is covenant, not theater. Prayer before performance so appetite remembers it is a guest, not a king. Sunlight on your face so your body remembers it belongs to the earth and not the feed. None of this is glamorous, all of it is mass. You will be tempted to cash this gravity in for spectacle, to scale it into a brand, to turn standards into slogans and customs into campaigns. Decline with a blessing. Keep your room small enough to love and large enough to matter. Share tools rather than mystique. If pressed for a secret, give the ordinary liturgy that built you. Begin when you said, finish while tenderness still breathes. Tell the truth at a livable volume. Let laughter relieve without cutting. Bless boundaries as beautiful architecture. Send credit early, start repair soon. Some will be disappointed that it sounds like chores. Let them be. A planet is held in orbit by forces no one can photograph. The test of gravity is always in your absence. After you go, do voices keep a humane volume? Do boundaries stand without guards? Does a no remain beautiful and a yes arrive paid? Do jokes refuse to invoice a face? Do meetings end on time with mercy left for morning? If the answer is mostly yes, then you did not collect followers, you raised the standard. Standards, once learned, do not ask for your name to remain true. They ask only for hands. Walk on, chosen one, anchored and luminous. Let your presence keep lowering the cost of honesty until everyone can afford it. Let your strength continue to be the quiet weather that teaches rooms to be places again and people to be themselves without paying a tax. This is the gravity of a 1 in a billion man. Not the ability to be noticed, but the power to make goodness repeatable without you. Chosen one, trust is not a contract inked with speeches. It is the weather your body carries into a room. Before you speak, people already know what is allowed to grow near you and what will be starved of oxygen. They don't know because you are spectacular. They know because you are consistent. Trust is the quiet arithmetic of kept promises and merciful endings. Of tone that never buys clarity at the price of dignity, of a presence that does not spend people to purchase moments. This month, your aura does not ask to be believed. It reminds the soul of something it once knew and had to forget to survive. That safety is possible without shrinking, and reverence is possible without worship. You make trust affordable by the way your attention behaves. Attention is your first language, and you have taught it manners. It does not requisition, it returns. It does not audit, it accompanies. You look at someone as though the seeing were a blessing rather than a harvest, and under that gaze their nervous system loosens its fist. Vigilance steps off the throne so color can return to the voice. The second sentence, the truer, smaller, more expensive sentence, ventures into daylight. You did not perform a miracle. You declined to perform at all. You established that nothing authentic must fight for oxygen in your company. Your sexual energy threads through this in the way a hearth threads through a home, visible, human, unashamed, and governed. It has retired from campaigning and learned to legislate. Consent is not a courtesy in your world. It is grammar. Timing is not an inconvenience. It is tempo. Dignity is not an option. It is law. A no remains beautiful architecture and does not have to apologize for standing. A yes arrives prepaid, with tomorrow unindentured. A not yet is treated as seasonal wisdom instead of a puzzle to outsmart. Bodies hear this literacy before minds can name it, and because they hear it, armor grows heavy and unnecessary. Radiance in women stops paying the tax of vigilance. Usefulness in men stops borrowing confidence from volume. You have not dimmed your flame, you have installed it in a hearth. Trust grows because warmth has learned a house. Trust also lives in your customs with matter, because people read how you handle objects as prophecy about how you handle souls. You set a glass down as if the table could feel. You close a door as if the house had nerves. You return a chair as if absence keeps minutes. These fidelities look quaint until you realize they are constitutional. Hands that refuse to bruise objects will refuse to bruise stories to fit a myth. Feet that widen a crowded path without fanfare will widen a constricted conversation without hiring a courtroom. The building learns your manners. The room learns from the building. The people become easier to be. Weeks later, somewhere you will never stand, a joke will be allowed to die because it wanted to invoice a face. A meeting will end while tenderness still has breath. A boundary will be called beautiful rather than difficult. And no one will trace the lineage to you. This is the aura of trust, not applause in the night, but kindness available in the morning. When conflict arrives, and it will, because humans come standard with edges, you refuse to purchase spectacle with dignity. You remove the audience before you remove the problem. You place the fracture on a table where hands can touch it and speak in sentences the size of the break. This happened. This stops. This will be repaired. This remains good. Fury, deprived of its parade, converts back into fuel. Blame, denied its throne, metabolizes into responsibility. The future returns from rumor and sits down to be built. You do not salt the earth to win. You preserve the soil so tomorrow can grow there. Those who watch you learn that adulthood is proportion, not thunder, not theater, not the victory lap that invoices the dawn. Credit travels in your weather while there is still music. You do not wait until applause has cooled to remember the hidden hands. You name them early, not to appear generous, but to keep resentment from finding food. You apologize while the bruise is pale, not to manage optics, but because the cost of repair rises with time, and you prefer to be a good steward of courage. You speak at a human temperature so truth can live with people after it lands. You end on time so mornings do not have to clean up nights. Trust is not a trick of personality. It is a budget you manage in public view. Humor in your orbit has learned compassion. You do not buy laughter with a face. You aim at knots, not identities. 2 notches of pressure bleed out and no dignity pays the bill. The shy try a second sentence. The clever try a kinder one. Relief, not entertainment, becomes the gift you distribute, and rooms leave lighter in ways they can spend. On patience with children, on precision in craft, on gentleness with themselves when they miss. The soul remembers that joy is not a performance, but a permission. Guard the aquifers that feed this trust. You water before opinion so patience has substance to burn. You breathe twice before reply, so tone stays human while truth stays whole. You move before mood so feeling keeps traveling and never seizes the controls. You sleep before rescue so help is not vanity. You pray in plain words so appetite remembers it is a guest, not a governor. You protect the absent from redesign. You begin repair before legend can replace responsibility. These do not trend, they endure. And endurance is how trust stops being an event and becomes climate. The test of trust is always in absence. After you go, do voices keep a livable volume? Do boundaries stand without guards? Does a no remain elegant and a yes arrive paid? Do jokes refuse to invoice a face? Do decisions hold without emergency speeches? If the answers come back mostly yes, then your aura did its quiet work. It did not magnetize people to you. It magnetized them to themselves. And that is the rarest stewardship in a noisy century, a man whose presence makes fidelity easier to keep.